into, we call an old school handstand. Old school handstand is locked out elbows, nice and solid there. But if you've ever seen like those 40s and 50s pictures of those guys doing handstands on the beach or wherever, they have a really nice line, but they have a big arch going on. Their head is out. While they're strong in their arms, they're creating inefficiency because they're not stacked. All right, and then from that position, I'll create that nice line. I'll bring those shoulders in line, and then I'll try to extend as tall as I possibly can, basically trying to feel like my body is being pulled like a piece of taffy. And then you'll see one complete line, and that's where the efficient action will come. All right, so just watch from the side, and you'll be able to kind of see those actions in play. So this first one here, bent arms, head out, kind of legs all over the place, feet flexed. From here, we'll lock the elbows out, bring those feet together. And now we have that old school handstand. Big head out, big banana back. Elbows are locked out, but still a lot of inefficiency here. Now from here, we'll start to bring those shoulders in line. Start to create that nice stacked position. Nice and tall. See where my head is? My eye line is right between my thumbs. And now I'm just resting. Okay. Pretty cool? So you guys are able to see the difference there? That visual kind of give you an idea of what happens. So maybe even within that old school handstand, if you were to just see that by itself, you might think that's pretty good handstand, right? But then if you can see the transition into that final piece where everything is nice and stacked, you can probably see the difference, right? That final position where everything is just resting. It's a resting position if you're able to finally understand how to get everything nice and in line, okay? So the first thing we're going to be doing before we actually get to the body tighteners is just stretching our shoulders, all right? So we're going to work together as partners, and we're going to do a couple shoulder stretches. The two areas that are most critical with getting a nice position with handstands are your shoulders, which is generally an issue with shoulder mobility, especially with guys, being able to open up your shoulders enough to get this completely stacked, and then what's happening in your lower back, right? And to be honest with you, this is something that will not change overnight. Neither will this, but this particular piece takes a very long time to get a proper understanding of how to get this hip roll action, this hip roll. It's probably one of the main differences that I've noticed with working with Chad is that we have a lot of overlap and some things that really coincide, but in terms of what happens with our lower back between gymnastics and lifting, it's very different. So obviously on the lifting side, we're trying to reinforce that lower lumbar arch, right? Trying to really lock it in. We're doing heavy lifts. We want to make sure that it stays nice and solid. Yeah, nice and solid. In gymnastics, we're trying to roll that so that everything is completely flat. All right? So for me, when I started lifting, it became really difficult for me to understand that shape because for the last 25 years, I've been working on to roll it under, find this nice line. So it was one of the really hard things as I started getting into the lifting side. And the thing is that if you're able to become a master at both ends of that, that's when you become a really complete athlete. If you're able to understand what's going on, like anything else, especially CrossFit, we talk about the importance of core to extremity, right? Core to extremity. All of our movements are core to extremity. If we can understand how to get a hold of what's going on with our core first within any of these movements and understand the difference between that lower lumbar arch being locked in versus that hip tuck under position, we're going to be able to nail these positions so much more easily, all right? So understand, even elite gymnasts have a hard time understanding this hip roll. So it's going to take a little bit of time to develop, but we're going to have a kind of a baseline today for you guys. We'll kind of key in on a little bit, and then we'll kind of see where we're at.